Now to the UK, where the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, has announced more than €560 million worth of funding to support trials of rapid COVID-19 tests. The British government wants to expand mass testing and explore the benefits of repeat testing. The funding will also support ongoing trials of simple saliva tests and other tests that can deliver results in just 20 minutes. Well, with more on the state of testing of COVID-19 in the UK, I'm joined now by Ravi Gupta, Professor of Clinical Microbiology at the University of Cambridge. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, I know that researchers at the university have got concerns about the swab test that people have been using in the United Kingdom. Can you just explain to me how you administer a swab test and what the flaws are with it?
So the swab test that we use here involves sampling the nose and the throat. So you take essentially it's basically a long stick with a cotton-like material at the end of it, and insert that into the nose, but sort of towards the back of the nose, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable. You give it a bit of a circular motion to what you're trying to do is actually brush off cells from the lining of the nose, and then you will insert that swab also into the throat, the back of the throat. Which make you gag, but again, you're supposed to do a circular motion to get as much material as you can. So that's how you do it properly. And of course, some patients or individuals will find it difficult to tolerate that, and some people doing the swabbing might be a bit nervous about, making someone feel uncomfortable. So it's not an easy procedure.
So what are the concerns about the reliability of it then? Is it that you think people who are doing it themselves... I mean, I was in the UK a couple of weeks ago and people were self-administering tests in a drive-through centre. Is it that you think people aren't getting enough of a sample, enough of those cells to actually do a test to confirm with confidence whether they do or don't have coronavirus?
I think the test is actually very, very reliable. The paper we published was really to do with the fact that in people who get very ill and need to be in hospital, those individuals have often been ill for 7 days or more at home and then deteriorated. And by that time, often the virus has moved really from the upper respiratory tract or the upper part of the airway, the nose and throat, further down into the lungs. And so testing at the nose and throat in people who have been ill for a while and have been quite unwell isn't necessarily the best, the most reliable, so you should combine it potentially with another test. But for people who are actually asymptomatic or might have mild symptoms, I think that the swab is perfectly reasonable as a testing mechanism.
You mentioned that it can be uncomfortable, and having done it myself, it can be. But one of the things the UK government have announced with this funding is this idea of doing a saliva test, and you could have a result within 20 minutes. Is that too good to be true? Would that be a reliable method?
It's still in development, really. The point is that all the validation that's been done, including our own group here in Cambridge, has been on nose and throat swabs, because this was the gold standard, and we've got good evidence now behind its benefits. The problem with saliva testing is that, again, people's ability to produce enough saliva varies. There's a lot of stuff in saliva. There's proteins. It's sticky. If there's any virus in there, it has to be accessed by the test to pick it up. So it's much more challenging to process. And at the moment, as far as I'm aware, you have to spin the sample down to really get an accurate test. So personally, right now, I'm very, very skeptical of saliva tests. I'd love to believe that they are here and will give you a result in 20 minutes, but I don't believe it.
Really interesting to have your insight. Ravi Gupta, Professor of Clinical Microbiology at the University of Cambridge. Thank you very much.